All right, during today's hearing on the oversight of the Justice Department, Attorney General Merrick Garland on multiple occasions claimed that his memo about concerned parents dealt with violence. But notably, the arrest highlighted in the National School Boards Association's letter to President Biden, which the Attorney General admitted he read and based his memo on, had nothing to do with any threat or violence against school board members. And even the Attorney General had to admit that the father who was arrested would not be considered a threat, though the NSBA would.
When this statement bothered the father of the girl, I'm a father of a daughter, I believe you are too, sir. The girl who had been raped, sodomized in the bathroom of a high school by a dude wearing a skirt, that father reacted. Now, that father reacted by simply using a derogatory word. Would that statement have bothered you if your daughter had been raped, if somebody said that it didn't occur?
Again, I don't know anything about the facts of this case, but derogatory words are not what my memorandum is about.
With me now is the congressman who pressed the Attorney General on the case in Virginia's Loudoun County, Congressman Chip Roy. He represents the 21st Congressional District of Texas and actually has ties to Loudoun County. Congressman, welcome back to the program.
Tony, great to be on the show as always.
Actually, you grew up there in Loudoun County, so you're familiar with the area.
Yeah. Despite longtime Texas roots dating back to the 1850s, my mom and dad moved up to that neck of the woods in Northern Virginia. And so I grew up in Loudoun County proudly. It was a great school. I was very blessed. But back then we were a pretty rural, conservative school. We certainly weren't engaging in the kind of activities that we're seeing now unfold in Loudoun, sadly, and that we're now seeing the FBI being empowered by the Attorney General through political pressure from the White House that we now know were coordinated with leftist organizations to try to put pressure to politicize this and have the FBI targeting parents. And I was glad to see my colleague, Jim Jordan, press the Attorney General today to get the Attorney General to acknowledge that they actually engaged in that endeavor as a result of that memorandum from the liberals with this National School Boards Association. And then your friend and mine, Mike Johnson, did an extraordinary job hammering the Attorney General on the conflicts of interest with his own son on critical race theory. So we got a lot out of the hearing today.
Now, Congressman Roy, I thought you brought out an astonishing admission from the Attorney General when you presented this situation in Loudoun County, which is referenced in the National School Board letter, which he said he read and prompted him to send out his memo launching this task force, that he admitted he had no idea about the case you were asking him about, which is at the center of the National School Boards Association's letter.
Yeah, well, I have been in modest communication with the father of that young lady. And look, obviously our prayers go out to them. I always hate, the reason I've been in communication is because I don't like to politicize things. This is a human being. This is a little girl. But they understand the importance of this. This is why he went to the school board in July, but yet he was ridiculed. He was turned into the poster child for so-called domestic terrorism. But what we now know is that memorandum put forward by the National Association of School Boards, which is very left-leaning, we now know through FOIA requests from some organizations like Parents Defending Education, they did the FOIA request and they found out and saw that the White House had been coordinating with this organization for weeks, for a long time, leading up to the September 29th memorandum. But then 5 days later, the Attorney General then put out a directive to the FBI to go target parents for this so-called domestic terrorism. And in that memo, footnote 13 directly cites to the Loudoun County case. And it was those outside organizations that were, putting out images of this man, Scott Smith, as a domestic terrorist for daring to just show up and exercise his First Amendment rights at a school board about his daughter who had been raped in the school that he sent her to be educated in. I mean, just saying a few words is on the low side of what I might have been doing in that circumstance.
So the evidence is now out through the FOIA that there was collusion between the White House and this leftist organization, the National School Boards Association.
Yep.
That, in fact, I mean, when you read their letter, I think it was a 6-page letter that they sent to President Biden, calling on everything from the Patriot Act to be used and utilized to go after these parents. It was clear that the White House's fingerprints, the Biden administration's fingerprints, were all over that letter.
Yeah, and I frankly, I don't accept that the attorney general can just sort of stumble his way through it saying, oh, well, this is just a state and local issue. I don't know the facts. I mean, that's bogus, right? First of all, you had the memo that connected it back to Loudoun that your organization, the attorney general's office, the Department of Justice, made the decision based upon. But also, you're now engaging in saying the FBI should be inserting itself into what are inherently state and local matters, right? The disagreements that a parent might have with the school board. If there's any kind of violence, great. The local law enforcement can say it was a crime committed, and then they can go prosecute the crime. Why is the Department of Justice getting involved? Because it's political. You inserted the Department of Justice into state and local activities, and then you try to claim that you don't know the facts of the very underlying state and local activity upon which you base your determination to engage. It defies any kind of common sense, and I think now we see why it's a good thing that Mr. Garland is not on the United States Supreme Court.
So, Congressman Chip Roy, last question for you. What's next? How do we follow up on this? What are the next steps?
Well, obviously, we're going to be following up with further questions of the Department of Justice. I think now that we've got this information, we got it late today about the information from the FOIA request showing that the White House had been coordinating with it. We're going to lean into that and make sure our Senate colleagues, the next time they've got a chance to ask questions, and we're going to have parents continue to do what they're doing. I mean, God bless you, Tony. You were out in Leesburg a few weeks back. I couldn't make it. But we've got parents all over this country that are awakening to what's been happening with critical race theory, what's happening with this transgender nonsense. They're trying to force down the throats of the American people, and the American people aren't having it. And that's the best way to hold everybody accountable. Yeah. Doesn't take a majority. It takes a minority willing to set brush fires of freedom. That's Sam Adams, and I know you know that. Yes. So we're gonna keep fighting for it. It's a team effort. And we appreciate all that you and your colleagues are doing on Capitol Hill, and we'll keep doing our part. And I'm prayerful and hopeful parents will continue to do theirs as well. Chip, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for being